You are responsible for your own life and your own happiness, so never, ever put it into someone else's hands. So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. Alright, welcome back to another episode of ToDaPointPodcast. In today's video, we're talking about what you can do to heal your heart, heal your broken heart. The thing is, if you're around my age, and if you've had your shares of crushes or relationships, chances are high that you've experienced heartbreak. Few people find their love of their life right away, and the majority of us have to kiss lots of frogs on this journey of love to eventually find our prince or princess. And another thing I want to talk about is that heartbreak is usually connected to romantic relationships. But the thing is that even friends and family can also break your heart, unfortunately. But that's part of the game. That's a part of life. But that doesn't take away the fact that experiencing a heartbreak can be something that is very, very painful. And for some people also very traumatic. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 ways you can heal when you feel heartbroken. The first thing to do is to listen to your body. You are probably feeling exhausted, especially emotionally right now. So listen to your body, give your body rest, because you're probably also in shock. Like I said before, for some people it can be very traumatic, right? The thing is, people can't see a broken heart. I mean, yeah, they can see you sad or cry. But let's say you break an arm. You know that within a couple of weeks it's going to be over. And then you're as good to go, right? Going through a heartbreak is emotional pain on a totally different level. So some people like to isolate themselves. I'm one of those people. So isolate yourself if needed, but don't do that for too long. Otherwise it can have a negative effect on your mental health. But sometimes you need to give yourself the room to be alone and process what has happened. And usually reflection comes after the dust has settled. Grieving is different for everybody, so take all the time you need. Just don't dwell in your pain and your sadness, right? According to Kubler-Ross, who was a psychiatrist, there are 5 stages of grief. The first one is denial, the second one is anger, the third one is bargaining, the fourth one is depression, and the last stage is acceptance. And this doesn't mean that everyone goes through these exact phases in the exact order I just mentioned, because you need to realize that you are trying to heal. Your mind, body, and spirit is trying to get you into balance again. So you need to realize that healing is not a linear process. Sometimes you go to one stage and then at one moment you feel great, you feel on top of the world, and 30 seconds or 30 minutes later you feel like shit again, right? That's also part of the process. So don't think that if you don't go through these stages, like I mentioned, that something is wrong with you. Sometimes you're at stage 4 and then on a day you feel like crap, you just go back to stage 2, for example. And that is perfectly normal. It's all part of the healing process. What you do need to remember and realize is that you cannot heal in the same environment that hurt you. Okay? So that means you need to cut off the person or the people that have hurt you. Meaning delete them or mute them on social media. Delete pictures out of your house, from your phone. Store them somewhere else, like in a cloud or something. So you don't have to be reminded every single day of the people who hurt you. Because if you don't do this, you're going to keep the wound open and it's going to take a long time for you to get over the situation. And yes, it's going to hurt at first, but I promise only the first couple of days, maybe weeks, it's going to be the most painful, but eventually the hurt will slowly subside. All right? So think about your own well-being and delete pictures and everything else that reminds you of them for now. All right, let's move into the second thing you can do to heal yourself if you feel heartbroken, and that is acceptance. Like I said before, grieving is consisting of different stages, and it feels like time is your only friend and enemy at the same time in this moment. But there's one thing you can do to help you to get back in touch with reality, and that is radical acceptance. You've probably heard of this before. What it basically means is you have to see the truth, the reality for what it is. Meaning, not worse, not better than you want it to be, but as it is. And it's going to take some time, and you're going to experience some resistance, because especially when we wish for things to be different, you're going to feel resistance. But that's the thing about radical acceptance. You have to see it for what it is. Doesn't mean that you are not going to feel the emotions, the negativity, and everything like that. The key here is to see it as it is and stop fighting it and wishing for it to be different. Because you can ignore the reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring the reality. Lots of times when people hear the word acceptance, they think that it means that they approve that whatever happened is okay. No, that's not what it is. It's just there to help you realize what happened, and the situation is what it is. In the long run, this should help you to find peace with whatever happened. Again, the same thing as with forgiving someone. It doesn't mean that you approve that what they did was okay. What you do when you apply radical acceptance is that you take away the suffer as much as possible. That comes with fighting reality. So number 3 is go to therapy if needed. The thing is, deep down you know if this is necessary or not. Listen to your intuition. What I've noticed is that especially when I recognize that I'm getting into patterns, like I'm getting into the same situations with different people, that is a pattern, it's time to put some work in. And usually you can't do that by yourself because you're so stuck in your own ways, in your own patterns, in your own misery at the time. So find a professional and talk to them and tell them what it is that you're struggling with, and they will help you. The thing with patterns is that somewhere along the line, maybe in your childhood or a different period in your life, you have adapted a certain belief about yourself and about life due to some things you've been through, right? And if that belief is so deep inside of your soul, it's in your being, that's the thing that's causing you to keep repeating certain situations over and over. And the thing is, until you realize that you have those patterns and you start working to break those patterns, those things that you're experiencing are going to keep happening. And like I said before, it's going to be a different person, same thing. So if you don't want to go through that the rest of your life, find help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I mean, if you feel ill, you go to the doctors to find out what's happening. So why not do that for your mental well-being also? So the 4th thing to do to heal yourself is to reflect and journal about it. This doesn't mean you only write down like you feel like shit today or you feel sad. No, you need to start thinking and reflecting back on what your part was into this. And I know I'm going to trigger some people right now, especially if you've been cheated on or lied to. I understand. We are not responsible for other people's behaviors, and cheating and lying is never, ever an excuse. But the thing is, somewhere, somehow, you contributed to the situation. And I don't mean that it's your fault. What I mean is this. Maybe you saw red flags and you chose to ignore those red flags. That's what I mean with that you have a part in the situation, right? Because maybe if you didn't ignore those red flags, you wouldn't have invested so much time into someone already knowing that this wasn't going to go anywhere. Again, I'm not saying this to blame you. I'm saying this to open your eyes, to help you move on from the situation and to learn from the situation. So write down what you think is your part in this situation, okay? I need you to take accountability for the situation you're in. That's the only way to move you past this. And because the thing is, you can only control what you do, right? We can sit here and blame the other person, but that's not going to help us. So think about what you've done or haven't done that's gotten you in this situation. This way you learn and you have clarity on what it is you need to change, and you can also realize what it is that you're looking for when you're ready to date again. Alright, number 5, and that is contact your friends and family. Look, if you're just new in a relationship and you're all in love and everything, sometimes you tend to prioritize the other person, right? And you kind of forget about your friends and family. I'm not saying that's right, but those are things that happen. And then what happens is you kind of disconnect from those people. And if you go into pain right now, those are the people you need. So don't be ashamed and don't be afraid to contact them again. And, of course, apologize if you've disappeared for a long time. But tell them what you're going through. And if those people really care for you, they are still willing to listen to you and be there for you. But you have to reconnect. So pick up the phone and make the calls you have to and reconnect with them. So number 6. So after the pain is kind of a little bit less, maybe it's time to start thinking about who you want to be. The thing is, as long as you're alive, you always have a choice. You always have possibility to become someone else, right? And this can be something as simple as changing your hairstyle. Just make sure you don't do anything crazy like cutting off your hair because you was too emotional, so you don't regret it later. But you know what? Try something new. It makes you feel different, maybe a little bit more confident. Also, don't forget to try maybe new clothing styles. Makes you feel like a different person. And that's what we want right now. We need to make changes to basically make you feel, which is actually what you're doing, you're starting a new chapter, right? Since you want to become a better version of yourself, this is a great way to start. All right, last but not least is number 7, and that's try new things. In number 6, we talk about changing up your style. Now I'm talking about changing your hobbies or adding to your hobbies, right? Find something or some things that give you energy and joy. Maybe something you've been putting off for a very long time. You never had the time because you was too busy with your significant other, but now you have all the time in the world, so decide to pick that thing up, right? Personally, what I did is I started this YouTube channel. One of the greatest things I've ever done. I remember last year being so scared to put out one video, and now here I am a couple of videos later, and it's the best decision ever because it's a good investment in myself, about how I present myself on camera and stuff like that. I'm starting to feel more comfortable, which is great. What I also decided to do is to teach myself how to mix, how to DJ. I've always wanted to do this. I remember being like 6-7 years old and being so deeply touched by music that I can actually honestly say that that is my first love. So I'm DJing. It gives me a lot of joy and energy. So yeah, I digress. Do something that you like. Do something that you've always wanted to try. And who knows, you might discover that you found something new, right? That you really, really love and that gives you a lot of joy. And this way you're focusing more on yourself, building new skills. And if you do something that has to do with like a group activity, you start making new friends. And who knows, when you're ready, you can also find a new person that can actually be someone you can date in the future. Invest in you, because that's the best investment you can make. And once you've done all of this, don't forget to also put this in your journal, by the way. Write down what you discovered about yourself. So those were the 7 things you can do to heal yourself when you feel heartbroken. So before I stop recording, I want to end the video with this. You are responsible for your own life and your own happiness. So never, ever put it into someone else's hands. Alright y'all, so that was the video for today. If you found value, don't forget to like, and also don't forget to hit that damn subscribe button. Alright, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.